Hi there. Welcome to the Rams Agents Production Coaching Call. The goal of the call is to help you sell more homes by maximizing your repeat and referral closings by implementing the Referral Agent Mastery System into your practice. My name is Mike Cerrone, co-founder of Rams Agents, and my co-host is Angela Newman, a master trainer of Rams Agents. Hello, Angela. How are you today?
Good morning, everybody. I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Fantastic, fantastic. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's March 17th. It's a good, fun day. Um, I like to bring up the story of my family here. I'm half Italian and half Irish. So my mom is Irish and my dad's Italian. And on my dad's side, on the Italian side, his mother, my grandmother, her name is Mary, and she was born on St. Patrick's Day. She's 100% Italian, and she had green eyes. She had green eyes, born on St. Patrick's Day, and her son married an Irish girl. So it's just kind of a funky little story. All right, so cool. Welcome to the show today. So we're going to be talking about how to get more repeating referrals from your past clients and sphere of influence. That's the goal and objective. We've got the manual. We shared that last time. So everybody knows about the manual, right? For your quick start guide on how to get your repeating referrals up and running. So if you ever have any questions about that, this good time to at this day, our Tuesday meetings is a good time to ask about that, and we could dig into any part of that. All right, let's talk about one of the things we do in there. We do a lot of things to reach out to our people, and one of the higher level items that we do are events because they can be done inexpensively. They have a high impact. There's power in the invitation, whether people show to your event or not. You're reaching out to all your people in a fun and friendly way to remind them that you're in real estate. This has been proven to be successful by the top agents across the country and over time. And I've been around long enough, 33 years, to see that events started kind of small at one a year maybe, and now most top agents and top teams, they do multiple events per year, um, at least one per quarter, and often once a week, and once a month, and sometimes even more than that. So incorporating them into your business is a great idea. With that in mind, is anybody doing any events right now that you would like to share? If you have any upcoming events or you just had an event that you did and what happened?
Just before we started recording, my fellow mastermind folks here were asking me about the epic golden Easter egg hunt that I've got going on here in Chattanooga and Northwest Georgia. So I've got that going on, and I just pulled up. We're executing this event entirely on Facebook. So I was just looking at that, and it is underway. Let me see if I can encapsulate what it is. We've got, it, it turns out we have three agents in the area that are participating in this. We were having four, but then one had to drop out. So what we've got is each agent has a golden egg, and it's just a plastic Easter egg, like you would go out and do an Easter egg hunt with the kids, but it's golden. We found them at Walmart for 79 cents, plastic. Open it up. You can have what we've got is instructions on how to claim your prize. So we've selected three areas, three communities in our market around Chattanooga, Tennessee, and mine is going to be in Northwest Georgia, in Ringgold, Georgia. Three communities where each of us is hiding this golden egg. And we started with one in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is a suburb of Chattanooga. That was our first golden egg, and it had a prize for the person who found it. The prize was a car detailing, a thorough car detailing. It was a $250 value. And then the next prize, which was hidden in Chattanooga proper, was a house wash service, and that was also over $200. And my prize that I'm doing in Ringgold, Georgia, is $100 cash and a dozen freshly baked cupcakes from a local bakery here in Ringgold. So each of us has a partner with a local business, which adds to the fun, adds in the case of the other two agents who are participating, they had no hard cost for their prize. I'm putting in $100, but that's fine. I certainly don't mind putting in $100 for the fun. So we hide the egg, and we started last week. We did the first egg and started giving clues on Facebook for where to find the egg. And the clues start pretty broad and they narrow down until someone finds the egg. Once they find the egg, they are supposed to take a photograph of themselves in front of the business, in my case, or near where they found it, if the business is not a hard brick and mortar. Take the photograph and then post it on Facebook and tag the agent and tag the business as well. And then they win the prize. So the first one was found, and it was a lot of fun. And then the next one has been found. And in both cases, there's like children involved. So there's a family, showing the egg in their picture, and then they've tagged the other folks. So anyway, mine has not been found yet. I've just put out my first clue yesterday on Monday, and it was a very broad clue, and I left it that way all day because I could put more than one clue a day, but I left it that way because we had a weather event kind of going on in our area. So I knew I didn't want to encourage people to really get out and start digging for it. I thought I'll just give a broad clue, let it sit and simmer, and then today I'll start getting a little more specific. I don't know if you have any questions, but that's the general idea. It's a pretty cool idea because it's easy to execute. It really is. I mean, when we talk about events, most people picture renting space or maybe they would have a park, but they've got a lot of expenses and coordination in their mind. In this case, it's it's extremely simple. I mean, here we are, St. Patrick's Day in March, and it's not that long till Easter. You could still pull off an Easter egg hunt just like this over the next few weeks.
What a great idea, Blake. It sounds like it's a lot of fun. It's a scavenger hunt, and you're getting people to search all over the place. You got businesses involved. As you mentioned, you can leverage co-oping with the business for the marketing. I assume maybe the business could even do some promotion of the event. They're providing the prize. It's good advertising for them. I assume you're using a local business, so you're tapping into the community, so you're getting goodwill there, and you're reaching out to all your people. That's the biggest question I have for you from the business perspective is, are you engaging a lot of your people in this event? I know you've already invited everybody, right? You've invited everybody on the list, so you're already won. Right? You've already won with the event. Everybody knows that you're doing this. So the second question is, how about engagement? Are a lot of people participating, and can you gauge that somehow?
Yeah, I mean, there's several ways to engage it, I guess, or to measure that. One is just from the general conversations that I have with my PCSOI, because that's really who I'm doing this for. Yes, I'm touching a lot of people that are not part of my PCSOI, and some of them I've added to my Facebook friends because I've been getting a lot of, or a fair number of new requests and new follows, but that's not my goal as much. I mean, it is to a degree, I guess. It's a secondary benefit. My primary goal is to be reminding my PCSOI that I'm a realtor, I'm active. Don't forget Blake. I'm here. And so that's what that's what I have looked at as the benefit. And yes, I'm getting plenty of that. And I have not had what am I thinking to say? I was trying to think if I've had anybody that's told me, they're ready to sell a house or anything like that. And I haven't had anything like that, but I have definitely had a lot of people that I've run into in my PCSOI who are talking about the fact that I'm doing this. And I was just thinking I could screen share the first clue here and show you because I've got insights. You want to do that or no? Yeah. Um, do I have to? Oh, yeah, here we go. Share. I've got to request that for you. Okay. Uh, this will be screen two. You should be seeing kind of my Facebook. Just let me know if that's right. Yep, you're seeing it. Okay. So this is the post. This is the first clue. Now, I did a whole nother post with video that talked about here's what we're going to do starting Monday. And that ran from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, had a couple thousand views, I think it was. And that was very good. So this is the downtown part of Ringgold. There's a photograph here. This is a very familiar place to people in the Ringgold area, which is the primary part of my PCSOI. That's a wall mural of Dolly Parton. Dolly and her husband were married in Ringgold, Georgia. That's where the claim to Dolly having an association with Ringgold is. So this particular post has the music, Dolly Parton singing 9 to 5, and you can see my instructions here for the first clue. The Epic Gold, and incidentally, my brokerage is Epic Realty. So the Epic Golden Easter Egg Hunt in Ringgold starts with the first clue now. This was yesterday morning. And the clue, if the country legend with a voice of gold were to find the prize egg, what a sight to behold. If Dolly wanted some epic golden Easter egg fun, she'd follow the whistle where trains still run. Now, you don't know this, but anybody local would know there's a railroad track and a train depot right back here. Yeah, so then I put the contest rules here. I've got my name and my proper disclosure here with phone number for the company. And I was just going to show you, this is since yesterday. I'm going to just pull up the insights so you can see. I think it was about 1,400. I can't see where it shows here how many times it's been seen, but somehow I saw how many times it had been seen earlier. Oh, there it is. Views. Just a couple hours ago, that was at 1,400 or so. So now we're at 1,667. 910 people, viewers. I don't know if you can see that, but not a lot of comments, but I had 5 shares, I think. Well, it doesn't show it there, but it showed it on the other page. I knew I'd had several shares and people reposting it. 5 shares, there's where it shows it. So it's been reposted by several, including the business that I am partnering with. So I'll stop the screen share, but I just wanted to show you, and that's not a beautiful picture or anything. It's just a photograph that is recognizable. And that's my first clue. If I'd had more time, I probably would have shot video for that clue because that would be even more engaging. I had such a busy weekend, I didn't get to do that.
What will you do? How's the event move forward? So are you going to do a posting one a day? And is there an objective? You're like the last clue is like you're showing them the egg exactly where it is in
Yeah,
case they just
right.
couldn't figure it out. And what's your timeline that you're trying to get stretch this event over?
We had planned it for a 3-day timeline, and I say we, me along with my other agents. The other two, it was found on the first day. So I don't know if their clue was too specific exactly, or what the deal was, but theirs was found on the first day. My timeline is later today it could be found, or certainly tomorrow I'll get very specific. I don't want it to go too long. It needs to be more of a splash, more than everybody, or at least in my opinion. I mean, anybody could do it however they want, but um, my goal is to have the egg found by Wednesday. It started Monday morning.
Very good. Now you've got these three other people doing the event. You're able to promote to your people all three events. You basically have
That's
three
correct.
events all with the same theme. So that's pretty cool. Another question that people might have is,
And they're promoting me as well, by the way. The
right?
the other the other agents that did the egg, they also are promoting to follow Blake Watson this week, to follow me for the egg too. So I'm promoting theirs. Gave me a little more headway because we've been promoting it for over a week prior. So now it's come to Ringgold. I'm sorry.
And Blake, you bring a really great point on getting leverage, gaining leverage. When we do event marketing, we don't have to be the person that puts on the event to benefit from the event marketing. Remember, the power of an event is what, Blake?
The invitation.
The invitation, and we can invite them to someone else's event. Doesn't have to be our event to still win with the leverage of an event. So you can put on the event yourself, but you can also invite them to someone else's event. And you've got the combination of both in this situation where you've got three agents. You're hosting one part, but you're inviting to the other three. So you're getting a lot of leverage. You're able to expand this over time at the most important time of the year. In the spring, you're getting in front of your people multiple times over and over again. So again, this looks like a touchy-feely thing, but if you look at it from a business perspective, it's really smart to stay in front of your people for the next 30 days or however long this thing expands over, while we're sitting here in the springtime, which is when you want to get in front of your people and make sure they know you're in real estate. One of the questions I think people might have is kind of a technical question. I want to be very careful when I ask this. Do not give me the answer. Do not give me your specific answer. Please answer in a generic way. Okay. My question is, where do you hide the egg? Don't tell me where you hid your egg,
Sure.
but do you hide it like inside in a business? Are you people putting it outside where the elements could get to it, or somebody could accidentally pick it up and remove it? How are you going to figure out where to hide this thing? Any tips?
Right. Good question. We kind of went through that and realized we cannot, or I shouldn't say cannot, but it just was not feasible to put it inside a business because the business still needs to operate, because the first person was thinking about doing it inside a business. And then they realized, wait a minute, people will be coming in here that don't want to work with the business, but just want to look for the egg. So they did put it in, I will say it's in a public place. It's in a place that's easily accessible 24 hours a day by anyone. And I think that's probably pretty smart to do it that way, after thinking it through. It could be near the business. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you wanted it. Like I'm working with a bakery, and it could be near the bakery. Mine doesn't happen to be that close to the bakery, but it could be, and that would have been okay too. I think the
Cool.
biggest thing is making sure no one sees you hiding it, because that was what happened, I think, with our first agent. She went in and talked to the business and was explaining, I'm doing something, and explained all of it. And then the employees were watching her carefully, where she went, and she said she's sitting out in the car after hiding the egg, and she saw an employee come out and kind of look around where she'd been. So she learned that was a lesson she learned. Another lesson we learned was because it had been properly explained that it was going from town to town, right? The first Easter egg was in one town and the next egg was in another town. So the first person who found the egg found it, called, said, "Hey, I won," took their picture, did all the stuff, and then put the egg back in the spot. So someone else came and found the egg, and that created a problem. So we have now adjusted the rules, which my rules are on my each post. I'm putting the contest rules on the post as well. So there's a couple of paragraphs of boilerplate. Here's the contest rules that explain when you find the egg, take it with you. So you cannot win the prize unless you give me the egg. So that's part of it too.
Yeah, you might want to add to the rules that there's only one winner. The very first
Yeah,
person that finds it and documents the date and time, that would be the winner. So something
yeah,
like that to make sure you're not giving away 10 prizes if it's super valuable.
right.
Um, Blake, how cool. Does anybody have any questions for Blake on his golden egg Easter egg hunt event that he's been doing? And if you try to gain any insight, anybody have any questions for Blake?
Not a, sorry, go ahead, Mark. It wasn't a question. It was just I guess an observation. I think it was a great idea, Blake, to partner with the business. One, because it strengthens the relationship with the business owner, and those are good people to have as clients. And two, because you're also leveraging their social network because they're going to be very likely to repost it. So that was a very smart idea.
Yeah, in my case with that bakery, it's a well-established business that's been here for over a dozen years. And it is under new ownership, but it is it's well liked and has a well-established following on Facebook, which this entire thing is being run on Facebook, so they were able to share it as well.
My question was on engagement, your engagement with your target audience and those outside the target audience. Is it strictly just their responses on Facebook? Are there other things you're doing to engage?
Yeah, I probably could do a lot more things than I'm doing, Mark. I'm sure I could. I could be calling people, making sure they're getting hey, did you see the clue? Hey, I'm giving away $100. And, you know, I could I could be making those calls. I most of the engagement I've had, aside from the numeric things on Facebook, has been through conversation. Um, with folks that I've seen basically come into contact primarily at church. So on Sunday I was at church and people were talking to me about it. So um, that's been it.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
I have a couple of questions. The first one is that so right now this week is what, 2 weeks before Easter? Yes, 2 weeks. So what made you pick this week instead of next week?
So because I was doing this with other agents and our area leader was really making this come together. It was her idea. We all brainstormed it. We all kind of masterminded it together, but it was her nugget of an idea. And it actually came from trying to think of doing a literal Easter egg hunt in a park where we would invite families and invite all the kids and all that. And I think she just recognized that the timeline was shorter. We should have started planning that months ago if we were doing that, is what she realized. And so I don't know how she came up with this idea, but that's where it came from. So we just had to look at it collectively on all of our schedules and see where we could fit in. We did have one more planned that was going to run through next weekend, or this coming weekend, March 21st, 22nd, I think. Um, but that one had to drop out. So mine is actually going to be the last one. I didn't want it to, and I also didn't want it to be too close to Easter because I'm planning on doing my goat event the day before Easter. And so I made
Right.
that clear. I said, I need this thing backed up a couple of weeks so that we can get it done and then me do my goat event.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it probably would be even better close to Easter than now.
Well, I think that it works now too. This week we
True.
have the first day of spring is I think Thursday. And so people are just starting to we had spring breaks last week and this week. I don't know when your guys's is, but people are starting to get in the mood, I guess, for that kind of thing.
That's true. Yeah, so it's
Well,
not bad that it's
I
starting
was just
early. Yeah.
curious. So it's really was more for scheduling.
Correct.
Cool. And
Yeah.
then my other thought is, I had bought this a while back when I have this huge Easter egg, and I've been trying to decide what to do with it. And maybe you guys could help me come up with some ideas. My first thought was maybe to sponsor an Easter egg hunt and just say, okay, I'll fill this egg, and here you go to an existing Easter egg hunt, and just say, I'll do the grand prize. Or do what you were talking about and doing a scavenger hunt. So this was very interesting, and I really enjoyed hearing, you go through it all. But you guys know I'm in Tulsa and Houston. So logistically, I'm like, should I have two? I didn't even think about hiding more than one egg. Um,
Right. You could definitely have one in each location or whatever.
or any
You could
other
have multiple
thoughts?
eggs.
When you
Yeah.
guys masterminded, did you have any other ideas that you considered? But
That's a good question. We really were thinking of we were trying to think of how each of us wouldn't have to invest a ton of time or effort into it and yet get the most bang for our buck, right? And because we're all busy, I mean, it is a busy season in our business, and so we were just trying to think of how to make it simple, and so we decided, just one egg per agent, and that's just how we did it.
mhm.
If we wanted to continue it, especially since that other agent dropped out, we talked about collectively doing one more egg or something like that. But I think it's okay for it to wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, because I mean, I'm doing an egg. I'm getting the engagement with my PCSOI, which is what my goal was, um, and I'm getting some engagement or adding to a bigger event, so people know I'm involved with other. There are other Epic agents out there, and there are more. We're doing other parts of town. It's not just Ringgold.
Do you feel like it was very helpful to have those other agents that you could collaborate with on it?
I think so for just coming up with the ideas. And of course, I had the benefit of getting to watch their Easter eggs be found pretty quickly. So I learned a few things there and realized, like we were talking about a moment ago, first person who finds it and take the egg with you. There's only one winner. No matter what, there's only one winner. So, and I put in mine, as I do in every contest, that any question or I forget the wording, but it's kind of like if any questions arise, Blake Watson is the final decision. Whatever it is, my decision is final, and I'm the guy who makes that decision. Um, just to try and avoid any kind of issue. I mean, obviously anything could still come up, but we try to
Cool.
avoid that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'm really excited to see the winner find your egg and see how this all goes.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited too. It was fun. I did a video with interviewing the business. I think that was probably, I think that's one idea that came from this that I think is really smart, is connecting with that local business. And on the other cases, they were, the house wash person, which is a great tie-in for real estate, and then the car detail person. Um, that was great too. I mean, those are both great prizes, but I loved the opportunity to tie in with a local business that has a physical presence and is well known in the community already. Um, I would strongly recommend doing that part of it if you've got somebody you can do that with. And maybe you just walk in the door and start talking to them about it. If you can find it's going to have to be a smaller independent, where you can talk to the owner kind of thing, most likely.
Just real quick, just two ideas that came to my mind. At the end of each day, maybe posting a video of yourself talking to the people who responded online and maybe who's getting warmer, who's not, something like that. And then at the end of the contest, have you thought about interviewing the winner like you interviewed the business owner?
That's a great idea. I love it, Mark. I'm making notes about that. I will. Video is key, and I need to use more of it in this. I just haven't out of time constraint. I think your idea of even if I post a little chat about, hey, people are getting warmer, whatever, where I'm just making a descriptive about how the contest is going. Great idea. But even better would be if I'm able to interview through video the winners and say, hey, when did you know you were going to find it? Or what was the clue that really, where you said, okay, we're getting in the car and we're going right now. That kind of interview, I think would be a lot of fun. And I mean, I'm planning on showing a photograph of them if I can. I mean, I'm obviously going to have the photograph of them with the egg. What's great about that is you really don't, you may not know this, but you really don't want to have pictures of children of minors in any of your advertising if you can avoid that. Um, but in this case, it is the family of the minor that's taking the photo and posting it on Facebook, and they're just tagging me. So that's not my responsibility when they're the ones originating the photo and putting it out there. I'm just spreading it further. But with their permission, I would interview them, of course. I did, just to be on the safe side, I did make it that my cash prize will actually be delivered via check, and you must be 18 or older to win the cash prize. Anybody can win the cupcakes, but you got to be 18 or older to win the cash prize.
What a great event. This is a lot of fun to talk about this and mastermind on it. I appreciate everybody's questions. I appreciate Blake sharing the idea. Um, I can't help myself. I'm going to give us another spin on this idea, listening to you. I think you may have the seeds of a annual marketing plan. You could take this idea and do it once a month. So you could do the monthly scavenger hunt.
Wow.
Monthly scavenger hunt, right? Well, you're getting a lot of leverage, 1,600 views. I could see this thing really leveraging up to where you are dominant in your area, your whole city, your whole town there, the whole little area, geographic area. Again, here's kind of the quick outline of the idea that started percolating, just leveraging off what you're doing there. And again, it's a monthly scavenger hunt. Each month you have a different local business that provides the prize that you interview. Okay, I heard that, I think, here as well, that you interview them. That's the promotion for them. You interview the winner at the end. That was a pickup. That was a great idea. And by the way, if you interview the winner, you do it like a sports event, right? Like, hey, how'd you win the big game? Tell me what your strategy, right? You really get excited and have them really get into it. The more you leverage into it, the more the excitement is going to be created for the next event. Hey, be sure to check out our next event next month where we're going to be going to blankety blank. We're going to have a prize of blankety blank, right? That's how you can tag it at the end. But I could see you doing this again monthly. A lot of top agents that I've talked to, they do a business profile video tour of that business, and they post it. You can take that idea now and combine it with the scavenger hunt and really leverage up. You're really able to promote that business, because I could easily foresee you're promoting it to your sphere, the business is promoting it to their sphere, and the media picks up on this, and all of a sudden it's now promoted to everyone in the community, right? Everyone in your town, everyone in the city, the area, something. I could see it really leveraging up to something huge. This could be a really massive idea. You're going to be able to expand your network and your social profile. Um, your cross promotion with you and the business. You're really going to help the business, like this cupcake shop. You don't think they're going to get a bump if this thing works like we're talking about? They're going to get a bump in their business. What other business is going to want to start talking to you? So you could do businesses that only relate to real estate services, right? Like you're saying, the washing of the house, maybe a mortgage company, title, whatever. You could start thinking of a bajillion different businesses that tie into real estate, locksmiths. I mean, there's just so many different things you could start thinking about. Or you could keep it, even broaden it to all these different little businesses in your town. Like you said, the cupcake shop and other things. So there's a lot here that you could leverage into, and it all rolls back into this idea of a monthly scavenger hunt, Blake's monthly scavenger hunt, right? Blake Watson's monthly scavenger hunt. Just that's where you're getting your leverage part of this. You got to work your way yourself into this promotion. So when it does go big and viral, it's lifting you and your real estate company and your businesses and your profile up as well. And you're going to be a do-gooder in the community, right? It all has all these positive benefits. A lot of fun. I could just see it going viral. What does everybody else think about that idea? Just taking this and really leveraging it into doing it once a month.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's a great idea. And getting to know those businesses too, you're going to increase your potential for referrals and just new people that want to do business with you, meeting new people. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, Blake helped my cupcake shop sales go up 10% last month. Yeah. Who am I going to buy my next house with? Who am I going to sell my next house with? Yeah.
I think it's a great strategy. Absolutely love it, Blake. I love what you're doing. I love Mike's idea for a spin. We've had agents that have done very creative things on a monthly basis like that, like tapping into different businesses and stuff, and it's absolutely helped their business explode. You could be onto something here. I love it. Angela, I had a couple of ideas for your egg. If you wanted to hear them now, or we could do it after the call or whatever. Now, um, so a couple of ideas I had for Angela, because that egg is stuffable, correct? It's a big egg that you could put stuff inside. So one idea would be to get donations from either other businesses or individuals in your area. So you could promote this on social media and get donations and donate it to a family in need. Because there are so many people right now that are feeling the pinch. You could do everything from putting in like pasta and sauce and maybe a gift card for groceries, a couple of things for the kids, whatever. But I would look at so idea one is have people donate things, either businesses or individuals. I know in our group we have a like a buy nothing site, and sometimes people will do various events where they will ask for new, unused items to go into these for, like a silent auction, for example, or whatever. But you could stuff the egg and then donate it to a family in need. That would create a lot of goodwill and you could get a lot of social media exposure on that. The other idea I had, if you have any connections with, say, an elementary school, or a senior center. I would probably, in this instance, go to an elementary school, but I would maybe um, fill the egg with coupons or something. But basically, what I would do is maybe donate a pizza party or something for an elementary classroom. Because that's something that's going to get you some exposure too, because then all of the teachers are going to see it. They're going to tell the parents, they're going to tell the administration, and it could be, Angela Newman, our local realtor, donated a pizza party to Miss Miller's third grade class because, they all passed their spelling test or whatever. Um, so I would maybe look at doing something like that, filling and donating, and then building all of the fervor up on social media to get to that point.
Those are really great ideas. And those work even if you have an egg or you don't have an egg. So those are ideas that could be done any time of the year.
Mm.
I like those.
Yeah, because anybody can, put an ad in the school directory or whatever, but that doesn't really make you stand out. But donating to a classroom and then all the kids go and tell their parents that, this really nice lady bought them pizza for lunch or whatever. Um, anyway, that was my thought.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Got those down. Thank you.
Sure. You're so creative, you'll come up with something great.
Gotta
That's
love the
it.
brainstorming. Go ahead, Angela.
Exactly. Yeah, I came in with this morning like, okay, we've got to figure this out soon, and now there's tons of great ideas. So I really love this.
Yeah, good stuff. This is a lot of fun. Blake, thank you for sharing what you're doing with the golden egg. It's real exciting in and of itself, and now it looks like we may have leveraged into another area or way to do events. So that's really cool. A lot of fun today. We just have a few minutes left. I am going to switch gears a little bit. So in our concept of RAMs, we build up repeat and referral. And if we get enough business, we're done. That's awesome. If we're not, we're going to try to get other business from other sources. And in that mode of trying to get other business from other sources, one of the things that works well is cold calling. However, it's something that most of us don't like to do or don't want to do for various reasons. And in that vein, Kim has a very interesting story about a lady who used cold calling to become very successful. In fact, if I understand correctly, she's one of the wealthiest women in Colorado now, and started from humble beginnings. So if you want to hear that story, you're in the right place. I'm going to turn the floor over to Kim.
Is this part of the meeting still being recorded? Okay,
Yep,
so
yep.
Tristan can come back and listen to it. So I have a woman who's part of my sphere of influence that I've known forever. Very classy lady. She's always kind of been a role model for me. She's the epitome of integrity, very classy, very kind individual. And I had lunch with her on Thursday, and I wanted to talk to her and pick her brain about cold calling because she used to be a role model for me in this area. Um, but I haven't cold called in probably, the last several years. And so I wanted to talk to her about it. And she has built her entire business off of cold calling. And I said this story yesterday, and so I know I'm going to be repeating myself and probably forgetting some parts. So Angela and Mark can stop me or change me if I need to. But basically, I asked her, how do you stay motivated? How do you deal with the days where you don't want to make your calls? And she said, Kim, you have to remember, I built my entire business off of cold calls. When I first started working with her back at a bank 30 years ago, 30 years ago, her third month she earned $60,000. in 1 month. That ended up being a pretty low month for her. She has done extremely well for herself. But she basically said that for the first half of her career, she had a plaque on her desk that said, "Action overcomes fear." Action overcomes fear. And she said she would look at that every single day and put herself in the headspace to then make her calls. She said that she would also reward herself afterwards. So if I make my calls today, then I can go and get a massage, or if I make my calls today, then I can go have lunch with a friend, or things like that. She would try to get herself in the headspace to, we've heard the statement, eat the elephant first or whatever, to always do the most difficult tasks of the day first thing in the morning instead of kicking them down the road. Because then if you don't get to them, you feel bad about yourself and you just deal with it. You rip off that band-aid, you deal with it head on, and then you have the rest of your day free. Anyway, this woman is just absolutely amazing, and I have seen her build her business over the years, and always coming at it from the servant's heart and doing extremely well for herself. And the other thing that she said is you basically have 30 seconds to make an impression. Whether, and even less than that if you're on the phone. So she said if you're talking to somebody in person, and then all of a sudden you see the body language do this and they're crossing their arms and whatever, you've lost them. You're dead in the water. And so you have to be on your A game. And the same holds true on the phone, because I was asking her, I said, Leanne, I'm not really sales call reluctant, but there are days that I just don't feel good. And then I feel bad about myself for not making the calls. And she said, on those days, you don't make the calls. She said, don't do it. Don't force yourself, because it's going to show through in your voice. And then everything is going to kind of unravel. Now, you can't live in that space every day. So the days that you do feel good, you need to make up for it and whatever. But she said, and you've heard me tell you guys this, people know if you're being disingenuous, and you have to be able to talk to them and have a conversation, and you have to be able to mirror their tonality, and you have to be on your A game, basically, was her advice as far as that goes. Anyway, it was a great conversation. I'm sure that I'm forgetting bits and pieces of that. And if I am, I can circle back and tell you guys later. Mike, am I forgetting anything? Angela, Mark?
I think hit the highlights. You hit the highlights. You did a good job. Yeah, I like that comment, the plaque that she had on her desk, that action overcomes fear. Action overcomes fear. You can apply that to cold calling and just about anything else in your life. Action overcomes fear, right? It's how we gain confidence. Yeah. Good story. Anybody have any questions for Kim?
I just think that that was really great insight. The reward, if you hit your things that you want to accomplish. I love that. And I also love that because when I feel great, I feel very just confident. And so that makes a lot of sense, where if I didn't sleep well or sick, it would be just not as powerful at all. So that's kind of like a relief almost, that you don't have to try to force it. Um, and yeah, so I got a lead yesterday from realty.com, and one thing that helped me was I called him immediately after I got it, and he answered the phone, and it was like he was waiting for my call. And I think that was a good reminder too, just with leads that sign up for something on a website or something that are raising their hand. Because a couple of times I didn't call it immediately, like I waited an hour or so, and those seem to have a harder time, to talk to them. But it went really well, and just kind of used that stuff that we talked about yesterday on the call. And uh, thank you, Kim, for sharing.
Yeah, good job with that. I thought it was validating to hear her say that because sometimes by Mark, we feel bad about and then we start to feel guilty if we don't feel well. And she's like, don't push it. Do not push through on those days. And I just thought that was really good. And she said, after you build rapport with people, so she actually had just sold her business. I told you guys that yesterday. Um, she said, my clients that I've dealt with forever, if I haven't slept the night before and I need to call them back, or it's different because you have that relationship at that point. But when you're making that initial call, make sure that you are on your A game. I loved that. I thought it was very powerful. Good
Yes,
job calling that lead back right away yesterday, Angela.
yeah, it's a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing, Kim. Congratulations there, Angela, for getting on that call so quickly. All right, let's do this. Let's wrap up the production portion of our call today. Thank you for being here for that. Let's move into the huddle. So our huddle that we do each day, number one thing that you did yesterday to move your business forward, number one thing you're going to do today. Answer those two questions. Who would like to start?
Well, Tristan isn't here, so I will go. Yesterday I did make some calls, and with that particular person that I spoke with, I have a follow-up call scheduled for Thursday. And what we have been practicing just with when you talk to a lead, setting that next appointment, that's been very helpful. So it just was naturally, okay, well, let me do a little bit of research and then let's talk again when this is a good time for you. And then today is a short day for me. We're going to the rodeo tonight. And so the biggie thing that I need to do is move some things forward with my new listing that will be activating next week, but I still have some things I need to make happen first and then make my calls.
Good job, Angela. Good luck on the calls. Good luck at the rodeo. Um, good luck with the new listing. And you just gave everybody a super valuable piece of information. Hope everybody picked up on that. This idea of never leave your current appointment with someone, your current conversation with someone without setting up the next meeting, the next appointment, right? Never leave the current conversation without setting up the next appointment. These are chains, they're links in the chain. And if you break the link in the chain, it's your fault that the chain fell apart. So you have to keep connecting the next conversation, the next meeting, the next thing that's going to happen. That's your job as the professional. Keep that thing moving. All right. So good job, Angela. All right. Who's next?
I'll go next. Yesterday, I had a lengthy conversation with a potential client who needed some non-real estate resources. And I told her that I would do a little research and that I would get back with her. And I think it's just a good reminder that if you provide the service, you eventually get the sales. Eventually, the universe has a way of balancing out the scales. Lovely woman. And she said, Kim, I need a resource for A, B, C, and D. And I said, you know what, client, I will do my best. Let me get on the phone. Let me tap into some people I know, and I'll get back with you in a couple of days. So just, just a little reminder as far as that goes. Today it's going to be sending out some marketing letters, seller reports, hopefully some phone calls later this morning or early afternoon. And I think that's my day.
Good job, Kim. That was a good insight, by the way, that we're here for these folks beyond just real estate, right? And if we think about it that way, the servant heart concept, it does pay off for a business perspective, but also a personal and an emotional connection for ourselves. We're fulfilling ourselves and our spirit, as well as assisting someone in need, which is Kim's situation. She's assisting in an area that has nothing to do with real estate, and And that is valuable. These are the things that people remember us most for, right? When we go outside the bounds of what we actually needed to do in our profession. If your doctor has ever helped you in an area outside of medicine, you're like, wow, that's incredible. Thank you so much. I didn't expect that, right? So that's a bonus. It's an extra. So good job on that. And that's great advice for everyone. Thank you, Kim. I saw that Yevon posted up his report. He said that yesterday he did 4 showings and he made 3 past client phone calls. And today he's planning to do the same. That's fantastic, Yevon. Good job. Way to stay focused on business generation and current business fulfillment. All right, who's next?
I'll go. I think yesterday my number one thing was getting my calls made. And then today will be, I'm going to be trying to keep this negotiation alive if possible. I've got 1 hour before our counteroffer expires. So we'll see. We'll see.
Blake, thanks for being here. Sorry we're
Yeah.
taking you away from that. I'm sure your thoughts are there. Good
Yeah.
luck on your counter proposal. Good job on your phone calls. Every day we got to make a reach out. How am I going to find a new client while we know we have to do the business of fulfilling our current clients? And it's that balancing act. But we always got to squeeze in. How can I reach out? Maybe just make one phone call to someone who could become a new client each and every day. So that's excellent work yesterday, Blake. Good job and good luck on this counter proposal. That is what we get paid the big bucks for, right? That is a dollar productive activity, negotiation.
Sure.
That is where we make the biggest difference for our clients. So good job, Blake. All right, so I think everybody's gone. Yeah. All right, cool. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'll just say that yesterday I made my dials as well. Again, always looking for new business. I had a small list, but I made 6 dials. I had 3 conversations, so that was a pretty good ratio. In this list, it's just an amazing list. 1 already listed, 1 already sold, so I got there late, and then 1 is a maybe. So 1 might be doing something here in the future. We might have an opportunity there. I couldn't get them to commit at that opportunity, so I'll follow up. All right, everybody, good job out there today. Thank you for being here. This was a lot of fun. Appreciate it. Everybody have a fantastic and productive rest of your day.
Hey, Angela, do you have a second? I had another idea.
Hold on just a second.